Citizen TV, this is the Monday Report with Trevor Ombija.
That's absolutely right. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on the Monday Report. Listen, this is a day when Kenya joins the world in marking the World AIDS Day amid some grim statistics. So let me put this into context. In the last 6 years, the rate of HIV infections has been on the decline. Last year, though, that all changed. In fact, the rate is now on the incline. It's increasing. In 2024, the rate of infection increased from 16,000 to 19,000. What is even more concerning is that 74% of those infections are among adolescents and young adults between the age of 15 to 34. Nairobi is leading with the rate of new infections. So the question is, why is that happening? That's the conversation we'll be having with the specialist here in studio. Dr. Lois Ombaju is an infectious disease specialist and also the co-director Center for Epidemiological Modeling and the Analysis at the University of Nairobi. Dr. Samuel Kijanjui is the country program director AHF Kenya. Dr. Stephen Ndolo is the director Health Promotion and Programs Management at the National Endemic Disease Control Council, that is NSDCC, at the Ministry of Health. And Cleopatra Wanjiku, she's a HIV advocate and founder, the Voice of Black Child. We want to find out why are those numbers increasing now. But that's not the only conversation we're having. Later on, some sporting action will be coming up with Emmanuel Ndungu.
Good evening, how are you?
Good, man. I was hoping that we'd have 3 days over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, but yeah, you know.
Didn't work out that way, but it's all good.
You gotta work.
We are here. So we have some serious issues to get through today, but we will still have some sports later on. A range of sports as well, from fencing to shooting as well. And a special report from Mike Akinyi from Dubai as well. So let's have a look at what's coming up later on.
All right, our top stories tonight.
Watu hawa wote lazima wachukuliwe hatua kali za kisheria.
Those who are behind carrying guns to meetings to paint security sector and to paint these officers in a bad light shall be dealt with and they will face the law.
Puzzle of goons. President Ruto and CS Murkomen pledge action as photos and videos put both opposition and government on the spot.
Na wache hii propaganda kusema ati Wiper imeachia DCP vitu vyote Nairobi. You know, they have to try everything wagonganishe Kalonzo na Gachagua. Not at all. Kalonzo denies Gachagua's seat-sharing deal for Nairobi County. Police detain woman after man plunges to his death from 14th floor apartment in Kilimani. Big night for Team Kenya. Emmanuel Wanyonyi, Sebastian Sawe and Edmund Serem among top winners at the World Athlete of the Year Award. Thanks for tuning in. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Njoki Shege. So tonight we begin our bulletin with President William Ruto's directive to Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja to crack down decisively on goons disrupting key political events across the country. Operating with impunity, these groups armed with crude weapons spread chaos during the by-elections in Malava, Mbeere North and Kasipul, leaving a trail of destruction and bloodshed. The order comes amid opposition claims that the state is allegedly sponsoring goons to interfere with the activities, with security agencies accused of turning a blind eye, raising serious concerns over police impartiality. Gatete Njoroge has the details.
Administration Police Training College in Embakasi played host to President William Ruto alongside top security officials. The head of state presided over the graduation of 5,892 chiefs and assistant chiefs who had completed training in paralegal work and security management. But it was the issue of the use of goons in politics that dominated discussions. A recent incident occurred on Sunday in Kariobangi North, where two rival gangs clashed as DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua attended a church service in the area. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen condemned the unwarranted violence, emphasizing that his ministry will not tolerate such actions.
What we saw yesterday in Nairobi cannot be condoned. And I believe that, Your Excellency, you will get results the way you directed the IG yesterday. You will get results to ensure that those who are behind carrying goons to meetings to paint security sector and to paint these officers in a bad light shall be dealt with, and they will face the law.
Murkomen, however, avoided commenting on earlier incidents involving goons in Mbeere North, Malava, and Kasipul during the by-elections. In these clashes, the government was accused of turning a blind eye to violence, reportedly unleashed by pro-government supporters, while targeting opposition allies. In Malava, DAPK candidate Seth Panyako reportedly suffered losses running into millions after goons allegedly supporting his rival, UDA's Malava MP-elect David Ndakwa, destroyed his campaign vehicles and set some ablaze. In Mbeere North, government-aligned goons were said to move freely with batons in the presence of police, while those accompanying opposition leaders were dispersed using tear gas.
Wale ambao wanatumia vijana kama wahuni, watu ambao wanatumika kulete fujo, kupiganisha wananchi, kulete maafa, hawa ni watu ambao hatuwezi kukubali. Na nishamueleza Inspector General wetu wa polisi kwamba watu hawa wote lazima wachukuliwe hatua kali za kisheria ndio tukomeshe uhuni.
The recent events have brought back memories of the goon phenomenon in the country. On July 17th, during anti-government protests, goons armed with crude weapons were filmed roaming the streets of Nairobi, while police watched from a distance. At one point, they were caught on camera violently robbing a man. In another video, a group was seen walking past City Hall, openly celebrating their actions for the day. The same pattern was seen back in the 1990s, during both the 1992 and 1997 elections. The state was accused of crippling opposition by mobilizing criminal groups to disrupt meetings and intimidate supporters. Mungiki was one of the groups reportedly used by the KANU government to suppress opposition. Gatete Njoroge, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Meanwhile, 54% of Kenyans feel oppressed by the government while exercising their civic rights. They are also accusing the government of widespread repression, legislative rollback, and suppression of civic activism. They highlighted the state's hostility towards legitimate civic activity, violent suppression of peaceful assembly and protest, extrajudicial killings, and abductions. A national assessment of civic space trends in Kenya by the Defenders Coalition has also found that Kenya's state of free civic space has moved from obstruction in previous regimes to suppressed in the current regime. This is according to the Global Alliance of Civil Society Organizations, Civicus. Melito Letenges has the details of that report.
A survey conducted by the Defenders Coalition in 10 counties has established that a majority of Kenyans feel restricted by the government while exercising their rights in the various civil liberties that constitute civic space. 46% of Kenyans reported to face restrictions in peaceful assembly. 38.5% reported restriction on freedom of association. 47.4% on freedom of expression. 41% on access to information. And 44% on public participation. 55% of the respondents described the general status of the freedom of expression in Kenya as either bad or very bad. Only 25% stated freedom of expression to be either good or very good, while 18% described their status as neither good nor bad. On the current state of the freedom of assembly, 56% of the respondents characterized the freedom of assembly in Kenya as either bad or very bad. 18% of the respondents found the status of freedom of assembly to be neither good nor bad. On the dispersal of protesters, 85% of the respondents stated that they had been violently dispersed in the last protest. Only 14% stated that they were not dispersed violently, with a negligible percentage preferring not to comment. Majority of the respondents in this study did not believe that the government of Kenya respected the freedom of expression for its citizens and consequently were not confident that they could express their thoughts and feelings freely about the government, even online, without fear of harassment by police or other state agents. Melita Oletenges, Citizen TV.
Let's talk about politics now. And a fresh row is looming within the United Opposition camp following the sentiments by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua that the Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka had agreed to step down nearly all candidates in Nairobi County in favor of the DCP candidates in the 2027 general election. While the Wiper boss has already dismissed Gachagua's assertion as propaganda, more Wiper members are jittery about the statement by the former Deputy President, which they have labelled as untrue. Emmanuel To has the details.
His statement at the Kariobangi North PCEA Church, where he was leading the Thanksgiving service for the DCP elected MCAs, caught his colleagues in the United Opposition flat-footed. Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua sensationally claimed that he had struck a deal with the Wiper Party boss Kalonzo Musyoka to have the Wiper Party step down in all the top Nairobi County seats in the 2027 general election.
Na sisi tumepangana vizuri na kiongozi wa Wiper ambaye ndiye amekuwa akisaidia ODM hapa Nairobi. Tumekubaliana kiti cha gavana kitachukuliwa na DCP. Kiti cha seneta kitachukuliwa na DCP. Kiti cha women rep kitachukuliwa na DCP.
Gachagua also adding that the deal also included 16 out of 17 member of parliament slots and 90% of the MCA seats.
Tumekubaliana na Wiper kati ya viti 17. Kati ya DCP na Wiper tutachukua viti 16. Na kati ya viti 85 ya ward between DCP and Wiper tutachukua 75.
However, in a quick rejoinder, Kalonzo, who was attending another Thanksgiving service in Machakos County, dismissed Gachagua's claims, carefully deflecting the blame to the government.
Na wache hii propaganda kusema ati Wiper imeachia DCP vitu vyote Nairobi. You know, they have to try everything wagonganishe Kalonzo na Gachagua.
Kalonzo maintaining the opposition will weather the storm and stick together through 2027.
Of course, we are calling our own colleagues to sit up together. We didn't want to give an impression there's anything seriously wrong. Tuletaka hii maneno ipoe. Ndio sasa tuchukue msimamo wa pamoja.
Sources within the United Opposition team say intense lobbying and horse trading has been ongoing for months now, with the former Deputy President asking for the Nairobi seats in a pre-election pact in exchange for his backing for Kalonzo, who is seeking to face off with President William Ruto in 2027.
DCP is a party for Nairobi. Na hii ndio chanzo.
Emmanuel To, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Now, police are investigating an incident where a man died after falling from the 14th floor of an apartment along Kindaruma Road in Kilimani, right here in Nairobi, after a night party. The body of the deceased was found on top of a saloon car after his fall from the balcony of the apartment. Police have been allowed to hold 2 suspects in connection to the death for 14 days. Ode Francis has the details.
A tragic scene unfolded at Heartland Apartments along Kindaruma Road in Kilimani on the evening of Sunday, November 30th, when the lifeless body of Festus Leo Romo was discovered on the roof of a white Nissan Tida in the apartment's parking lot. Detectives now investigating how Festus fell from the balcony of a short stay unit he had checked in just 2 days earlier on November 28th. He had reportedly been staying in the apartment with 2 individuals, Lilian Morambeke and Patrick Jagongo, who are now in custody. According to preliminary investigations, Lilian and Festus met on a dating app in 2024 and had since maintained a close relationship. Lilian, who holds Kenyan and Costa Rican citizenship, is said to have visited Kenya frequently to spend time with Festus. Records from the apartment's visitors log indicate that several guests visited the unit in the days leading up to the incident. Police in a court affidavit said the room was found in disarray, suggesting a violent altercation may have taken place. Lilian was discovered asleep in the bedroom, allegedly intoxicated. Male clothing and identification documents believed to belong to Festus were also recovered from the scene. According to detectives, Lilian told investigators that she, Festus and Patrick had been drinking together on the night of the incident. She claims she went to bed, leaving the two men still drinking in the living room. Both suspects were arrested on Sunday evening, Lilian at Heartland Apartments and Patrick in Kahawa West. They will remain in police custody for 14 days after investigators secured a custodial order from the Kibera Law Courts to complete their probe. A postmortem conducted on Monday confirmed that he had died from excessive bleeding caused by multiple organ injuries, all consistent with high-impact blunt force trauma. Ode Francis, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Now, 3 National Police reservists have been shot and killed in Chari in Meriti, that's in Isiolo County. The 3 were killed by armed bandits who ambushed them last night in the area. According to Meriti Sub-County Deputy County Commissioner Michael Kioni, the NPR were guarding livestock when they were ambushed by the bandits believed to be from Samburu County. Kioni has assured the residents that the government is doing everything possible to ensure that the area is secure. This comes just a day after at least 3 people were killed and others injured in the neighboring county of Meru. So here's a conversation we're having later on. As the world marks World AIDS Day under the theme Overcoming Disruption and Transforming the AIDS Response, Kenya is confronting a worrying setback. The Kenya AIDS Response Progress Report 2025 shows a sharp rise in mother-to-child transmission of HIV, which has now surpassed the 9% mark for the first time in years. The report also highlights Nairobi County as having the highest number of new infections, while several arid counties are recording alarmingly high rates of infants being born with HIV. Mary Mwoki has more.
For more than 2 decades, Kenya was hailed as one of Africa's success stories in the fight against HIV. But tonight on World AIDS Day, those hard-won gains are under threat. New data from the Ministry of Health shows that mother-to-child transmission has risen sharply from 7.3% in 2023 to 9.3% in 2024, almost double the global target of 5%. Even more worrying, the Kenya AIDS Response Progress Report 2025 reveals 8 counties recorded rates above 20%. The counties comprising Wajir, Mandera, Isiolo, Samburu, Garissa, Baringo, Marsabit and Kilifi record levels not seen in Kenya in over 15 years, with 1 in every 5 babies born to HIV-positive mothers infected. The National Syndemic Diseases Control Council attributes these to a number of factors.
Particularly, we are concerned about 6 counties in this country which have recorded unacceptably high levels of mother-to-child transmission, late initiation onto care when she is pregnant. Number 2, she is on ART when she's on antiretroviral therapy when she is pregnant, but she drops off in the course of the pregnancy. Number 3, during the she gets infected with the virus during breastfeeding. And number 4, she drops off antiretroviral therapy during breastfeeding.
The council, however, says they have instituted measures to curb the mother-to-child infections, key among them ensuring every expectant mother attends all the antenatal clinics without fail.
So it also is cultural and social in nature, because you find that there are some communities in this country where, unfortunately, the woman cannot make the choice to access health services. So if she's pregnant, then she has to depend on the husband or on the partner to make that decision, or the mother-in-law to make that decision if she's going to seek healthcare services or not.
Even so, the government is assuring the public that there is no cause for alarm, noting that the figures reflect the large populations in these urban areas.
It's not unexpected that you will have a higher number of infections in Nairobi as compared with other counties, all right? And remember, if you look at all these counties, they are the ones which are having the highest burden, and also they have the highest number of new HIV infections. They are concerned that there are certain subpopulations that are shoring up these cases, and those are the ones which you must address.
The National Syndemic Disease Control Council says the government will intensify interventions, especially in the most affected areas, including tracing pregnant women and expanding doorstep antenatal care, with the goal of reducing mother-to-child transmission to 5% by 2027. But with only 5 years left to meet the global target of ending AIDS as a public health threat by 2030, the clock is ticking louder than ever. Mary Mwoki, Citizen TV.
So the Teachers Service Commission has officially shifted from Minet to the government-run Social Health Authority, bringing an end to its decade-long partnership with the private insurer. The transition is already underway, with 294 teachers successfully processed today, and TSC leadership assuring them of a smooth, seamless rollout nationwide.
After a decade and a minute, 1st December 2025 marks a new chapter in healthcare cover for Kenya's teachers. Under the Social Health Authority's Mwalimu cover, educators now gain access to a comprehensive package which shall include inpatient, outpatient, dental, optical, maternity, funeral expenses and air and road evacuation allocation, international travel and referral allocations. A spot check at Kenyatta National Hospital today revealed that teachers have already begun using the SHA cover to access both inpatient and outpatient services.
42 teachers transited into the new scheme.
As at 10 a.m. this morning, 249 inpatient cases had transitioned into the new scheme.
The SHA cover extends to teachers who are principal members, one declared spouse, and up to 5 biological or legally adopted dependent children aged 0 to 21 years or up to 25 if residing with parents and enrolled in a recognized post-secondary institution. The new medical scheme has been touted for its benefits, with the scheme's benefits covering 1 million to 3 million inpatient costs, depending on work grade, and 150,000 to 450,000 for outpatient. Teachers had earlier expressed concerns over opaque registration procedures and the fate of long-enjoyed allowances.
It is still the same allowances that are going towards the medical cover. So nothing changes. Everything remains the same, as long as we get quality medical care.
Elsewhere in Kilifi County, the Teachers Union KUPPET gave similar assurances to its members.
We are hopeful that this insurance cover is going to solve several problems where teachers have been struggling in hospitals.
Matibabu yote watoto wangu wote wawili imekuwa 5,650. Tukilinganisha na ile matibabu ya ile cover ya kitambo ilikuwa huwezi fikisha 2,000 kwa siku kwa mtoto mmoja.
With the switch to SHA now in motion, Kenya's teachers begin a new chapter in healthcare, one defined by broader access and renewed hope. The true test, however, lies in how seamlessly this promise is sustained in the days ahead. Lillian Muli, Citizen TV.
The National Transport and Safety Authority, that is NTSA, and the Traffic Department have launched a major crackdown on drunk drivers and motorists flouting traffic rules this festive season. The operation will see the return of alcoblow, mobile courts, and intensified speed enforcement. For the first time, Kenyans will also be able to record and submit free-of-charge videos of traffic officers receiving bribes in a bid to reduce accidents and curb corruption over the holidays. Willie Lusige has the details.
As Christmas festivities kick off, the government is warning motorists that tough consequences await anyone who breaks traffic laws. The National Transport and Safety Authority (NTSA) and the Traffic Department have announced the return of breathalyzers, enhanced speed monitoring and other strict measures to curb the high number of accidents typical of the festive season.
We have come to the observation that most of the traffic accidents occur during night hours. We are also going to enhance the use of breathalyzers to detect drivers who are driving under the influence of alcohol. Mobile courts will also be reinstated to ensure offenders face instant consequences, with the traffic violators being fined on the spot. And even this mobile court will reduce these complaints of bribery along the public roads. And for the first time, Kenyans will be able to record and send at no cost videos of traffic officers taking bribes through toll-free numbers that will be displayed on roadside billboards by the traffic department. And any member of the public who happen to see an officer engaging himself in a corrupt practice would be able to see the toll-free number. They can, even if it's a passenger seated and the vehicle is stopped, then you can peep in and see that. And even now, I've been receiving videos of officers receiving bribes along the public roads. However, motorists are raising concern that long-distance trucks should be targeted more aggressively, along with border riders who are accused of contributing significantly to road accidents but are rarely held accountable.
To make sure that all these trucks go for inspection, every accident in Kenya, and a truck is involved. And these trucks are killing in big numbers.
This comes as the country already recorded 3,890 road deaths by October, over 85 more fatalities compared to the same period last year. As Christmas festive season kicks off, the government says it has put measures in place to make sure those ones traveling up country will be safe. It's a matter of time to see if indeed these tactics will be able to bear fruits. Wele Lusige, Citizen TV, Thika Road.
All right, we're taking a quick break here on the Monday Report. When we come back, we'll still run you through some news, get into some business news, sporting action, and then a discussion later on this day, on the World AIDS Day, where there seems to be a rising infection rate, 16,000 to 19,000, Nairobi being the epicenter. The age group is 15 to 34. Why is that happening? That's a conversation that's coming up right after the break. Also coming up later on.
Restoring sight with gift of the deceased. Why medics are urging Kenyans to embrace cornea donation.
Welcome back. So Kenya is facing an urgent shortage of corneas needed to restore sight for nearly 30,000 people. The crisis persists as communities continue to struggle with long-held fears about organ donation and the stigma surrounding cornea transplants, even though the procedure relies solely on the tissue taken from the deceased. Now, Kenya's Eye Bank is appealing to the public to embrace cornea donation, stressing that the sight-restoring tissue must be harvested immediately after death. Brenda Wanga has more.
Imagine the vibrant colors of Kenya, the matatus, the markets, the faces of your family slowly fading into a permanent grey fog. This was a reality for Elizabeth Bosibori, a teacher, Teresa Mwende, a medic, and John Shege, a law student. These three were losing their sight from different eye ailments. Life was passing them by in a blur.
Because of an extended deterioration in my vision over the previous 8 or 10 years that came about because of an injury to my eye from a splash of some pesticide. I visited the doctors initially, and they told me that I needed a cornea transplant to improve my vision. For some time I used contact lens, but my vision deteriorated. I had struggles, especially in my academics, and it eventually led me to joining a blind school. I have schooled in a blind school, the Kai School for the visually impaired, and I was using Braille then.
A cornea transplant has restored their sight and their dignity.
It has changed how I see things from how I used to see things. Yeah, like I see better, to be honest. I can walk at night, I can do things, I can drive, you know, I'm confident, more confident and just happy.
My vision has improved considerably. I'm able to use my computer comfortably. I'm able to mark my students' projects. I'm able to read large documents, which is part of the requirements of my job.
The transplant involved replacing the damaged clear front layer of their eyes with healthy tissue, but there was a catch. The tissue must come from a human donor and it must be harvested within hours of death.
Again, it's very important that cornea should be taken within 6 hours because whenever the death happens, so every tissue has something living hours. So cornea lives only for the 6 hours.
In fact, in our own hospital, we have a backlog of more than 1,100 patients who are waiting for a cornea. And in the whole country, statistics show that we need 30,000 corneas to help many who are not able to have a good vision.
Today, as we gather under one roof,
if the need is so high, why are the shelves empty? The answer lies deep within the country's traditions. In many Kenyan communities, the sanctity of the body after death is paramount. The idea of harvesting eyes is often met with fear, suspicion, or cultural resistance. The beneficiaries of such transplants, however, say there is no need for fear.
For the general society, especially the Kenyan people, it is not a taboo to donate a cornea because you end up giving that someone dignity. Yeah. So that's like how my dignity and dependence has been reduced right now. I used to even work with white canes in.
It really doesn't influence how me thinking that it's from a dead person or no, it doesn't really, to be honest. Yeah. So, yeah.
Sometimes they are local.
Cornea donation and harvesting has taken root in countries like Sri Lanka, the USA, India and Nepal, especially in cultures that practice cremation. Now the only eye bank housed at the Lion Sight First Hospital in Nairobi hopes that Kenyans will begin to change their beliefs around these donations that are critical in restoring sight to the living. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.
Now, Kenyan athletes were among the winners announced last night during the World Athlete of the Year Awards in Monaco. Emmanuel Wanyonyi won the Male Track Athlete of the Year Award. Sebastian Sawe won the Male Out of Stadium Athlete of the Year Award, while Edmund Serem won the Male Rising Star of the Year Award.
The winners of the Out of Stadium Athletes of the Year for 2025 are Maria Perez and Sebastian Sawe.
It's 3 out of 3 for Sebastian Sawe. The Kenyan, once again, the 51st edition of the BMW Berlin Marathon has another superstar on its list of winners.
Our male and female athletes of the year are Emmanuel Wanyonyi and Sydney McLaughlin-Levrault.
For 40 years, McLaughlin-Levrone.
Now, congratulations to all the athletes who won. Now, police in Kisii say they're looking for a lawmaker from the county who was captured on Thursday in one of the restaurants in Kisii town, assaulting a man. And according to senior security officers in Kisii, the lawmaker is believed to be Kitutu Church's South MP, Anthony Kibagendi, who's gone underground after the matter was reported. According to a report filed at the Kisii DCI headquarters, Astariko Moriasi, the man captured on CCTV being assaulted, says he was confronted by the lawmaker on 27th while taking breakfast. Police say that Kibagendi has the option of presenting himself before them to allow the law to take its course. Now, the Kabuchai ward by-election winner in Bungoma County, Eric Wekesa, has been summoned by DCI officers to appear at Kapsabet Police Station in Nandi County to record a statement of allegations of coffee theft in the Tinderet area, claims he describes as shocking, insisting he has no links to coffee farming and is not from that region. Wekesa alleges that this is part of a scheme by political rivals unhappy with his victory to block his swearing in just days after he fled his home, fearing for his safety. He's now urging the government to guarantee his security before he presents himself on Tuesday, insisting there is a hidden agenda behind his summoning.
Jana nilipokea simu around saa 6 ikiniambia niende Nandi kwamba nahitajika huko kwa kosa ambalo linahusikana na kahawa na mtu ambaye alijitambulisha kama DCI wa Nandi. So mimi nilichukua lightly nikiona na hao wakora wa simu kwa sababu kwa maisha yangu mimi silimi kahawa, siuzi kahawa, sihusikani na any business ya kahawa apart from kukunywa kahawa. When I wanted to text the number, I saw there was a summon sent to me yesterday. Kulingana na mimi nafikiria hii ni siasa kwa sababu Nandi mimi sijui huko, Tinderet mimi sijawahi kanyaga. Kwa maisha yangu I've not been in Nandi before. There are plans to hold me in custody. I'm feeling my life is in danger kwa sababu ya maneno ambayo yanaendelea. I've been trailed, that one is a story for another day. Alafu na hii vitisho ambayo napewa na hii harassment ambayo napewa politically at my level, I feel my life is in danger.
Now, the Marsabit County government is seeking to increase tourism numbers through its annual cultural festival set for December 4th to 6th in Loyangalani. The Loyangalani Lale Turkana event aims to showcase the rich heritage of the 14 communities that call Marsabit home while promoting peaceful coexistence among them. Marsabit Governor Mohamud Ali said that the county has partnered with the Kenya Tourism Board to position Marsabit as a key tourism destination for both domestic and international visitors.
Northern Kenya used to be known for, cattle rustling, instability, insecurity, all that kind of thing. But through this cultural activity, we have been able to eradicate that insecurity that comes to everybody's mind when they hear Northern Kenya. It is now peaceful. People can dedicate their time, and energy to other positive aspects of life, conserving our culture for each of the communities who live there. The 14 of them, all right, is one other aspect that we have achieved. Through this, we have attracted a lot of tourists. Those of you who will be there from the 3rd to 7th will see very many tourists. Even after the cultural festival, many tourists keep coming to Marsabit because we have a lot to showcase.
All right, on that note, the Monday Report takes a quick break. We're back with some business news in just a short while, so don't go too far. New loan pricing formula takes effect as Bankers Association promises more transparency in the credit space. Time now for some business news, and the new formula governing loan pricing formula agreed on by banks and the Central Bank of Kenya is now in effect. All 37 commercial banks will now be required to use the uniform formula that becomes effective today. The Central Bank says that the new formula change will make lending fairer, more transparent, and more responsive to market conditions. Our reporter Jasmine Wamboi explains what this means for borrowers.
All 37 commercial banks have today begun using a new uniform pricing formula for loans issued to Kenyan borrowers. The change introduces a single base rate for the entire banking sector, drawn either from the commercial bank rate now at 9.25% or the interbank market. From that base, each bank will add its operating costs and a customer-specific risk premium.
Each and every customer needs to be able to know how does a bank arrive at 16%, 17%, 18% on my loan.
This new system demands more transparency as banks must now reveal how they price their loans. This lending rates and fees information will be published on the Total Cost of Credit website, hosted online by the Kenya Bankers Association and the Central Bank. Not only will this intensify competition on the lender's end, it will also make it easier for customers to compare their options on the basis of lower interest rates.
As a customer, you have now the opportunity to be able to improve on your risk profile and then now move from a higher rate that you are on currently and progressively be able to be afforded lower rates.
This means that borrowers with stronger credit scores will pay lower interest rates. The new system applies only to Kenya shilling loans issued by commercial banks, with the exclusion of foreign currency loans and fixed rate facilities that were agreed upon earlier. Similarly, loans from SACCOs and microfinance institutions remain unaffected. All new loans will follow the new formula immediately.
Now, for existing loans, we still have a window up to 1st of March 2026. That's when now all the existing loans are supposed to have moved.
The central bank says the framework aligns the country with international practices and strengthens monetary policy by relying on real market data. The banking industry says that this new loan pricing formula is going to be very good for you because the cost of your loans is now going to be directly tied to your borrowing habits. Jasmine Wamboi, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Now, Rwandair has resumed flights to Mombasa following a 6-year absence with a new route connecting Kigali, Zanzibar and Mombasa. The airline, which suspended its route to Mombasa in 2019, is expected to make 4 trips to Mombasa every week. The new route provides travel options for both the weekend escapes and extended vacations, ensuring travelers can now enjoy the very best of East Africa's coastal charm. Kenya Airports Authority Chairman Caleb Kositany says that the move will enhance passenger capacity and profile Mombasa as a destination for tourism in the region and connecting Africa with various airlines.
As you know, it was just a small lapse from 2019 after COVID, and we're so happy to be back to this magical part of Kenya. We had a busy first flight, about 110 passengers today. So it's just the first one, as you know, after a number of years. So we have extremely high expectations of our destination to our joint destinations in Zanzibar and Mombasa.
Enhance our passenger capacity, to enhance the number of times we fly out, and this will also profile Mombasa as a destination for tourists, for shopping, especially connecting Africa within our airline. We have, you can see that this is Rwandair. The ground handler is Kenya Airways. So Kenya Airways is not losing. They are gaining on the ground handling, and they are also going to gain because they're going to have frequencies to fly to Rwanda and do the same connections within Africa and the world.
Now, the government has renewed its calls for a major increase in local coffee consumption to 10% by the end of next year from the current 3%. The move is aimed at strengthening the sector's growth. Speaking during the inauguration of the National and County Steering Committee on Coffee Revival, the Cooperatives and MSME Cabinet Secretary Wycliffe Oparanya said that Kenya lags far behind neighboring countries in domestic uptake, an issue he believes must change if farmers are to earn more and the value chain is to stabilize. Dennis Otieno has more.
Kenya may be globally recognized for its premium coffee, but most of it is consumed abroad. At home, the country's per capita consumption remains low, estimated at less than 0.1 kilograms per person annually. This is far beyond regional peers. Uganda, which has aggressively promoted its coffee culture, consumes about 0.5 kilograms per person, while Ethiopia, the birthplace of coffee, leads Africa at over 3 kilograms a year. It is this trend that the government now wants changed.
But we find that Uganda is the leading exporter of coffee in Africa, but is the second producer of coffee. Why? Because in Ethiopia, local consumption is quite high. So we have said in Kenya, the local consumption of coffee is 3%. But that is understandable because at independence, coffee was being marketed as a superior drink, only meant for the whites.
Oparanya says boosting domestic consumption through cafe culture, youth-focused branding, value addition and county-level awareness campaigns will reduce dependence on volatile export markets and increase incomes for Kenya's 800,000 coffee farmers. The call was issued during the inauguration of the National Steering Committee and 47 county steering committees on coffee revival in Nairobi. The teams will coordinate reforms under the Coffee Revitalization Program, including improving cooperative governance, restoring production, and strengthening marketing structures.
Unless coffee is consumed locally, then you remain at the mercy of fellows who are out there. If you are going to have a low consumption of coffee, please make it also affordable.
With the new committee in place and renewed focus on domestic uptake, the government hopes to anchor the sector on both strong local demand and competitive export earnings. Dennis Otieno, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Urbanization, infrastructure development and an increasing demand for housing has seen Kenya's real estate sector steadily grow. This comes with demand for finer indoor and outdoor spaces, hence the need for material to complement this. This is the gap a local entrepreneur sought to fill when he founded Blessed Ventures Mazeras, a venture dealing with natural stones found in various parts of the country. Edward Chea tells us more in our Made in Kenya segment.
Large blades eating into stone. These may look like ordinary stones, but they are not. They are natural stones mined from different parts of the country, carved here at Blessed Ventures Mazeras and sold to property developers.
Here we deal with all natural stones, cladding stones that are used in houses and wall cladding. Kuna Mazeras, likes of bush stones, silver stones, Machako stone, there are many.
A civil engineer by profession, Maina uses his experience to source the natural stones from different parts of the country, depending on his clients' preferences.
Kilifi, inatokaga coral stone, and Mombasa, that is Samburu, kunatoka Mazeras. Mazeras are in four shades. There is black, grey, brown and sky blue. We have ruby stones that come from Baringo. We have silver stones comes from Bomet. We have woodstone comes from Jiro. The simplest of all, it's Mazeras. Inakuwa to cutting and splitting. Then we come to others that come as blocks. Huwa inaslicewa. Kuna mashini mbili ama tatu inaingia. Mashini ya kwanza inakuwa ya kuslice. Jio kubwa inakatakatwa kama mkate. Slices. 10 inaenda inaresiziwa. Kuresiziwa ndio iko na hiyo shape. Ile shape yenye unataka. So after kuresize kuna yenye inakuwa na groove. Inakuwa na mwisho unaona imekatwa kwa kitu. Yaani unaiona. So kuna mashini ya kuingiza groove, then hii ingine yote ni manual.
Maina says natural stones are best used to give a structure a finer finish and cannot be used to build a structure from scratch.
When you do paint finish, you can do the sculpting kwa sababu ya mchanga wetu hapa. Then kuna feature walls. Kuna ile feature, kuna wall moja kwa nyumba yenye unasema hii wall ni ya TV. Unaweza tumia, hivi umeona wallpaper kadhaa watu wametumia wallpaper. So baada ya hiyo, so unaweka nini? Unaweka natural stone kwa sababu unapatia nyumba kifahari, inakuwa kifahari na it enhances looks. As well mahali kama kwa bafu ama mahali kuna kwa wet areas, uwezi slide kwa Mazeras.
The natural stones are priced depending on their color and availability, and Maina says most homeowners are now embracing them as they look to beautify their spaces.
I'd love to appreciate some of the young guys who are in real estate because they are really pushing our products. They are one of our largest customers. Also resorts, most of the hotels wanatumia natural stones. In swimming pools ndani wanatumia mazeras.
With 4 permanent employees and several casuals, Maina looks forward to scaling and venturing into real estate to serve more property developers across the country. Edward Chweya, Made in Kenya, Citizen TV.
Business News.
My name is Emmanuel Ndunga. Let's get into the sports news now. The 2025 Bamburi Rifle Club Defence Forces Championship delivered a high-octane display of precision shooting as competitors from Kenya's security agencies and civilians battled across 15 challenging stages. The 4th edition attracted 74 shooters, making it one of the largest and most competitive events in the club's history. In the Open Division, Abdallah Musin claimed first place with 904 points, ahead of Peter Mwangi and Boniface Muthengi. The Production Division saw Ibrahim Ndungu dominate with a perfect 1,440 points, followed by Suhaib Timimi and Leonard Lechum. Other categories also showcase emerging young talents, with Mariam Ibrahim shining in both the PCC Junior High and Lady High. Among Kenya's leading security formations, GSU emerged victorious in the team relays, followed closely by the DCI and KDF.
Officers, and everything has turned out to be good. Yesterday we did 15 stages, which involved about 287 to 300 rounds for those people who had reshoots.
Next year we are starting Olympic shoot. Here from the range. We are targeting year 12 years and above. And these are non-ballistic guns that will be used. These are air guns. So I hope the parents are following and they will start bringing their kids from next year.
Moving on, host Kenya was the team to beat in the 2-day East Africa Fencing Championship League held at the Karen Village in Nairobi. Kenya emerged top with 3 gold, 4 silver and 4 bronze medals. Kenya did well in the foil category, with both the men and women's teams sweeping the podium. Kenya also had a clean sweep in the men's epee category, where player and coach Wanyoike Mburu, Brian Muley and Victor Odiambo won gold, silver and bronze. In the women's epee, Angel Achieng and Vivian Akoth clinched silver and bronze, with Rwanda's Olympian Tufaha Uwihoreya winning gold. The tournament was organised by the Savora Fencing Club, and after the East Africa Championship, Kenya is set to host 9 other tournaments in 2026. Now onto reports. Dubai is slowly turning into a sports tourism destination during their winter in November, with the Dubai 30x30 challenge attracting many visitors from across the world. From running to cycling and fitness hubs, the city has just concluded 30 days of fun activities for people from all walks of life. Our sports editor Michael Kinney attended the Dubai Fitness Challenge, and here he is with more.
From an idea mooted in 2017, the Dubai 30x30 is growing in numbers. Initiated by His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Crown Prince of Dubai, the challenge is now an annual affair with 4 signature events. The Dubai ride opens up the main Sheikh Zayed Road into one long cycling track, while the Dubai 10-kilometer run on the same road now attracts more than 300,000 runners. Hattadam on the outskirts of Dubai encourages the stand-up paddle. But the showstopper is arguably the Dubai Fitness Village or the fitness hubs.
So the Dubai 30x30 challenge is all about getting yourself out to work out for 30 minutes every day. For 30 days of November, this is the exercise that the Dubai people have been doing. And this setup is all over Dubai. There are 3 of them near residential areas.
They are set up in 3 main areas. Kite Beach, where you find a lot of water sports and beach sports. The Zabil Park and the Al Waka Park. All 3 have themed zones where you can pick the exercises of your choice.
They are not really prepared of anything. They just come, I teach them. I got some skills, so I'll show them my skills.
Whether you choose boxing, the outdoor gym or the spin zone, you are bound to meet a Kenyan working in that particular area.
Dubai
is not for lazy actually. Dubai inataka mtu mwenye unajituma manze. Unataka ujitume. Sometimes watu wanakuja hapa wanajisahau. Yaani mtu anapata challenge kidogo ameshajikata.
Most of them went to Dubai for one job but ended up training for a different course to supplement their income. Fitness is one paying industry in Dubai.
Huwa tunakuja hapa tukiwa tumejiandarate sana. Most of us huwa tunakimbilia unskilled labor, which is cleaning and whatever. Tujaijituma, tunaacha skills zetu, talent zetu tunaacha. In fact zinalipa huku mbaya sana.
The fitness hubs are open every day of the week with free entry and free workout classes throughout the day. They have been made family friendly as well, where the whole family can work out together.
It's very important to bring the community into this, no matter what their background is, no matter what their goals are. We don't know what people are going through. The idea is to get people to move, to engage with the community. It's free, because Dubai can be very expensive, so there's no excuse not to do it. It's fun. I hope you've seen that.
It doesn't stop at the end of the month of November. The 30 by 30 challenge encourages visitors to continue working out as they prepare for the next Dubai challenge. They say 30 minutes daily for 30 days is enough to transform you into a fairly fit person.
He's got a strong one. A strong car. Hey.
Mike Okinyi for Citizen TV.
Thanks very much for that. Let's finish off now. The national under-17 football team, the Junior Stars, will play their last match of the CECAFA under-17 AFCON qualifiers on Tuesday when they take on host Ethiopia in the third-place playoff match. This is a crucial match for both sides, as whoever wins will grab the bronze medal as well as the final CECAFA ticket to the AFCON under-17 tournament. Uganda and Tanzania, who meet in the final, have already secured their AFCON slots. Ethiopia and Kenya finished first and second in their groups to qualify for the semi-finals, where they both lost to Uganda and Tanzania. Ethiopia will have the home advantage and a psychological boost, having beaten Kenya 1-0 in the group stage. The match will kick off at midday at the Abebe Bikila Stadium in Addis Ababa. So that's all from me. My name is Emmanuel Ndungu. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. After the break, Trevor will be joining you again for an expert panel and discussion on HIV/AIDS, the enduring threat. So stay with us just for a few minutes.